What the fuck do I know?
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Bollock! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
I know that you've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm surprised I don't say that in my sleep sometimes.
I know, I probably do.
Yeah, I'm Tom Lang.
Oh, and I'm Bill Evenson, and you've welcomed, you've been warned. Welcome back to minute 20 of All New Thrills, The Ghost of Frankenstein, starring Lon Chaney Jr. as...
Creighton Tull Chaney.
As
Junior.
His middle name was Tull.
Yep.
Yeah, we probably covered all that.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're still in the we're still on the set of the Wolfman.
Yep.
And the Wolfman in this is played by Bela Lugosi, and he looks better than he did in the last one. But he's being kind of Igor-like here.
He's being very Igor-like here.
He even kind of gets the voice a little bit, and then he kind of comes and goes.
But he continues to threaten blackmail to Ludwig.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. That you are the son of the Frankenstein that created him. I think this is interesting how he says this.
Yeah, I agree.
That made the thing live after it had been dead for years.
Yeah, we talked about this 5 years ago about how there was some back and forth, he or it. And we haven't had that in a while.
No, it hasn't been a while.
You wouldn't expect it from Igor.
Definitely not from Igor, who is his best friend.
Right. He really does consider him his friend.
Yeah.
He does things for me.
He does things for me.
It does things for me. It would be weird.
Yeah, so I always found that a little off-putting that he says it.
The only thing I would say is, presumably it doesn't express his own personal feelings, but he's trying to ramp up the blackmail portion of it. You know, like, this is a fucking, look at this thing.
Look at this thing.
Fucking thing your father created. You want me to tell people about that? Huh?
Maybe, but it doesn't really play that way. And maybe it was written that way.
Yeah, maybe.
Lugosi just didn't quite achieve that, because he doesn't say it that way.
Right.
With that kind of tone.
That's true. He just kind of...
He just says it offhand.
Yeah.
I mean, he's threatening, but he doesn't emphasize thing or it.
Yeah. I was trying to put it in my head, like maybe did he consider him a thing before in the first two films, but that doesn't work either because he was his friend, I don't know, all along, I guess.
Well, we don't know how.
I don't really know what to
we wouldn't
make
have
of
the backstory of when they met or anything like that.
Yeah, but
Not
there
that
are
we
reasons to think
that
they met during the first two films somewhere.
You think so?
Well, because he knew Frankenstein.
Well, he knew his father, yeah.
Yeah, I knew your father.
Knew the father, too.
Yeah, your father, too. Yeah, so he was around doing something. I mean, the other part is...
Well, he could have been one of the guys helping out with...
digging up bodies.
Carl and the other guy, Ludwig, or what the other guy's name was.
I think it was Ludwig, wasn't it?
It is Ludwig because the guy at the beginning of the film that was Ludwig in Frankenstein is referred to as Hans.
Okay, that's where I'm getting
That's
confused.
where it's confusing. Anyway, so number one, this would indicate that maybe even in Viseria they're aware of the monster. Or two, that Igor in this instance, I already went over that.
Okay.
But using that as a threat indicates that they already know about this.
They must be at least somewhat aware of it, yeah. Okay, I agree. Not necessarily, but
they don't recognize him as odd.
Nope.
So, it's Igor logic. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
But the other, you just look at it the other way, which is he could just walk into the station and say, "Yeah, I know that guy. That it's the thing that Frankenstein's dad created."
Yeah.
I mean, there's any number of ways you can make that work.
Frankenstein made him out of dead bodies.
Yeah, he
the fiend
pull that. Yeah.
Terrorizing half the countryside.
Night tree to mundo fine.
I honestly don't know how that sticks in your head because I saw it recently and
Red Zone Cuba.
Oh, it's just abysmal.
It is really good.
It's really hard to watch, even with the Mystery Science Theater riffing.
I like when he's in the jail and he's saying to the guard, "Hungry, water," and they treat it like it's pyramid. Things you say to a guard.
yeah.
That still makes.
I mean, it has funny moments, but the movie itself is just so unwatchable.
Well, I like to think of it as part of the Coleman Francis trilogy.
Yeah,
so you got to watch watch? Did you watch all three?
Skydivers.
Skydivers.
Well, I've seen Beast of Yucca Flats.
Beast of Yucca Flats. Yeah.
Years ago. It actually, I had gotten a bunch of DVDs of it when Target used to do the dollar area, or they have the dollar area still, but they had I bought like $10 worth of dollar DVDs of Beast of Yucca Flats and gave them out as gifts from Horror Incorporated.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever show it?
No, I couldn't get it.
Couldn't afford it.
It wasn't in the packages that we had. I'm like, I'm desperate to show it because it's so mind-bogglingly awful.
Yeah, they're all very bad. Coleman Francis, he had something to say in Night Train to Moon to Phoenix, though. He really had a political message.
Sticking it to Castro, that's for
right.
sure. I'm sure it hurt.
That's, by all indications, Castro was crushed.
Weeping.
Oh,
that's mean. Why are they so mean
Why
to
are you
me?
mean to me? That's your Castro?
I guess.
Do you want me to tell them, Frankenstein? That's a little more direct than we were used to seeing. He's used to be a little more subtle.
More subtle, but I think it's typical Igor still.
It is. It's absolutely.
It's very Igor.
Mm-hmm.
And we get an emphatic no from...
Yes. He's again playing his hand.
Yeah.
Ludwig is losing in every way.
Absolutely is. He's losing worse than Wolf was against Igor.
And here's why, in my opinion. Ludwig was a very calm, stable, rational asshole.
Yeah.
Well, you blaze the trail. All right, clean up.
Yep.
Let me know when you're done cleaning up. I'll get some more things for you to clean up. And now he's all emotional, so it's very effective. Overall.
Igor got under Ludwig's skin for sure.
Totally.
And he seems stunned as he sits down.
Yeah, on the
arm of the chair.
On the arm of the chair. Yeah.
Then you make the police to hand him over to you.
It's like Star Trek 3 when Shatner goes to sit in the chair and he misses the chair and falls down because his son was just killed. That's Star Trek 3, right?
It is. Yes.
It's not like that.
No,
it's somewhat like that.
It's kind of
He's sitting on the chair. He doesn't look in the chair and he doesn't sit down correctly.
Yeah, he doesn't. He falls down.
Well, Shatner fell down. I guess that's a little different.
Oh no, I got to watch Star Trek 3 just to relive
if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Then make the police to hand him over to you.
All right, so I apologize in advance. You'll cut all this out, but I just find this line fascinating. You'll make the police to hand him over to you.
Yeah.
So I had the minute play. I remember being in the kitchen and thinking, what is it about this line that's so weird? It's obvious that in this case, Lugosi has misunderstood the language. He's saying it wrong.
Yes.
Then you'll make the police to hand him over to you.
Yeah.
So I thought about this and I thought about why that it would be frustrating for someone who doesn't speak English as their first language. And I think it's the word make. So if he had said, then you'll force the police to hand him over to you. If you'll convince the police to hand them over to you. So from a website, chompchomp.com, an infinitive, like make is an infinitive. An infinitive, as I understand it, is just, it's the bare form of a verb.
Yeah.
It's not makes, it's not made, it's make. Will almost always begin with to, followed by the simple form of the verb. To plus verb equals infinitive. Almost always infinitives begin with to. Exceptions do occur, however. For example, an infinitive will lose its to when it follows these verbs. Feel, hear, help, let, watch, see, and make.
Okay.
Between the verb and the infinitive, you will find a direct object like police. Make the police do a thing, not make the police to do a thing. You force the police to do a thing. There you go.
All right.
It's confusing, and I completely forgive Bela for getting it wrong.
English
and it isn't even wrong enough for them not to put it in the movie.
Yeah.
I would leave it in.
Oh, and I think it fits Igor.
It fits Igor. Yeah.
I think it does. You know, he's not I'm sure educated in any way, shape, or form other than.
You're saying the school system in Frankenstein, or where is he from? Goldstadt?
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Okay.
But I think it fits.
I think so.
It's one of those Igorisms now.
Yeah, it's an Igorism.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. Ludwig thinks this over for a moment and says, yeah, I could do that. Sure.
Well, Ludwig thinks, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought you said Igor thinks it over. I'm thinking, well, no. He does. He definitely does think it over.
He thinks it over for a second.
Says yes.
Yeah, I could do that. Now
I could
get
do
the
that.
fuck out of my house.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Very well. now get out.
Yep.
I like this from Ludwig, because he's saying, you've got me over...
Got me over a barrel.
Pardon me. You've got me over a barrel here, but I don't have to be nice to you. Yeah, I think I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that when Igor turns to leave, it plays just like a comedy shot. It's played as a long shot.
I was going to say.
And Lugosi turns around and kind of rolls his eyes and then walks out. Yeah, it's pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I have the guest director, Roland V. Lee, directs a long, slow, wide shot of Igor very slowly turning
then walking
and shuffling off. Eventually, Ludwig exits the shot as well.
Yeah, well, what I wrote, that's strangely enough.
It looks like a shot from like an early talkie.
Yeah.
Where they never cut. Everything is straight on.
The camera's right at
it's like a proscenium,
roughly. Proscenium, perfect.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, the way Charlie Chaplin directed almost everything Charlie Chaplin directed.
Yeah.
At least in the early days. I suppose that's probably not true in his later years.
I think as you get to modern times, it's a little more sophisticated.
Yeah, probably City Lights. I still think it plays like a comedy. Well, that's interesting that you'd made the comparison with Roland V. Lee. I was just saying this: the whole movie kind of has a tone like this. Like it isn't quite sure what it's doing or what it's trying to do. This movie's not well made overall.
No,
there are some
I agree
real
with that,
highlights in it.
I agree
but
with
there's this all of a sudden shit like this where you're like, what the
fuck? It looks
was
like
that
a shot,
supposed to be funny?
Like a shot out of the Coconuts or something, where Groucho and Margaret Dumont aren't quite sure if they're supposed to come onto the shot yet or not.
Yeah, one of those deals.
know?
Yeah. Well, that's what this seems like. Like, what is happening here? Like I said, if it was supposed to be funny, it would actually be pretty well done.
Yeah, but it's clearly not.
But I don't think it is.
No, it's clearly not.
I don't think so.
Yeah. We cut to Elsa descending the Wolfman steps.
And the sound of a doorbell can only mean one thing.
Yeah.
It's time for Bill's visitor update. I regret to inform you that Martha has failed us.
Yes, she has.
Elsa is now... But listen, she said, certainly, sir. What was she? You really took that just to mean? Because this is the way. Have you ever had a servant?
No, I haven't.
Well, see, that's the difference. Yeah. No, you didn't grow up in the environments I did. I grew up on a plantation in the South.
Okay. Where
she was expected to do something about
Lulabelle would
tend to
breastfeed you
and you would just say this needs to happen. You don't tell them how it needs to happen or what they need to do. It's just understood. And Martha's like, okay, whatever.
I won't tell her.
I don't care. Well, maybe she took it to mean you're not going to tell her. I don't care what happens.
What she promised was to not, according to the script, was to not tell her someone from Frankenstein visited. So technically, if you follow that,
I like
she
that.
didn't fail.
That. Yeah, Martha's standing right there going, I don't know.
I don't know where he's from.
I can tell you this. I don't think he's from Frankenstein.
If you're wondering, if you're asking.
Just my personal opinion.
I'm saying, She descends, Igor leers at her like a former Trump cabinet member, leering at a teenage girl,
Excellent. Or like Igor talking to the goose girl. That's what I was going to say. It's another creepy Lugosi look. He's making
pretty girl,
friends.
He's scoring points.
Yep. And then we see him.
It's a great shot. He goes out the door with his back to the camera, then he turns around and shut the door.
Give her one more.
Give her one last leer before he leaves.
Yeah. It's funny because I was just moments ago talking about how this movie's a fucking disaster. But this is really great. It's really effective, and Lugosi does it right.
Yep.
But he's kind of asked to do what he's good at here. He's leaning into his strengths.
Yes.
Kenton is saying, give us a good Lugosi
give us a Lugosi number 3.
Yeah, there you go. He's got the numbers. All right.
Got any more questions, wise ass?
That sound might can only mean one thing.
You want to try that again?
Mean one thing.
And
take
two.
That the sound of our theme song can only mean one thing. It's time once again for Got Any More Questions, Wise Ass, brought to you by patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute, where you can pay. You can help us out and pay, and don't forget the payment part. You pay $2 a month, and you can have us in your ears.
And why would you not want to pay for scintillating talk like this?
You know what? I should have gone live on Patreon. That's what I should have done. Should have been exclusive to the Patreons. I didn't think of that. Next time. All right.
Well, next time let's give a warning too that we're recording, and we'll go live. No, you don't want to do that?
Yeah, actually, I do want to do that, but that would have to be. Yeah, we'd have to plan that, and that sounds hard.
Okay.
It's a good idea, but it's hard.
It's not going to happen.
What is that? What is that from? Oh, it's actually John Cleese. When Michael Palin asked for a ride home. Can do, but won't.
But won't.
That's us, basically. Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick from the Classic Horror Film Board weighs in. Chapter 7, more good, good more. So he starts out positive. It's the insult sandwich.
Yeah, it is, yes. Yeah.
So it might be an open-faced insult sandwich. We'll find out. John P. Fulton was nominated for the Oscar for 3 of Universal's Invisible People films.
Yep.
Invisible Man Returns, Invisible Woman, Invisible Agent. The effects are great, of course, but like Ghost of Frankenstein, there's one bad effect in Invisible Man Returns when a newspaper, as I recall, goes all squiggly and matte-liney. Of course, there are many more effects in an Invisible movie to balance out the one lousy one with a bunch of good ones than in Ghost.
That's true.
Chapter 8, yeah. The last 2 Dead movies are poor, no doubt, but we need to cut George Romero some slack. By the latter years of his career, people would only give him money, and not enough at that, to make zombie movies.
That's very true.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I think he did the best he could with what he had on projects he didn't really care about.
Yeah, I got that impression because I had a conversation with him via Facebook.
Oh. It was just unfortunate, too, because Romero had a history of making films. He started out as the guy who made these zombie films.
Yeah.
That's all anybody would get him to do.
Yeah.
And then he branched out and
made some pretty good stuff.
Some pretty great stuff. I just watched Creepshow the other day.
Oh, yeah.
God,
I watched that when I was stuck recuperating, and I love it. Yeah,
that's a great
movie.
Well-made film. Did you happen to watch Creepshow too? Not so great?
Not so good.
But it's not, I don't hate it. But
no,
it's not
I don't
so
either.
Good. All right. George Romero, we're fans,
love
obviously.
George.
And we agree with what you said, because the money that was spent on those last 2 zombie films, the entire budget is up on the screen, and it's 15 cents.
I spent more for dinner with Barsky than he spent on those films.
Yes, exactly. He says, sorry, but I'm just all about defending George.
No, I absolutely. I'm not going to argue that at all.
Okay, Chapter 10, some nice filmography crawling. I love it. If you think Sir Cedric is a bore in Ghost, check him out in Invisible Man Returns. Okay. I'm not sure I've yet awoken from my last viewing. On the other hand,
we reference it over and over again, and neither of us can remember a single thing about it.
No, that's true. We've both seen it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to see it again.
John watched it a few years back and mentioned it, and I'm like, I don't know if I've even seen that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yes, you have.
Yeah.
Because you saw it with me.
Okay. On the other hand, if you want to see Cedric at his best, check out The Lodger. Genuinely one of the great horror films in the 40s, according to Greg Mank, one of the 3 best. He says, I'm not sure I'd go that far.
I wouldn't go that far either, but it's certainly an unsung gem from the 40s. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Now I should.
Laird Krieger is great.
Huh, what?
Laird Krieger, the...
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know him, yeah.
I do, from Ghost of Frankenstein. No, I don't know who Laird Krieger is.
Are you serious?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, my God.
Is it...
I need to find a new host.
And a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. In Yankee, Cedric sings and dances and goofs and just seems to be having the time of his life.
That's actually true, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Rick, you want to co-host
the podcast? Could be. I might be in danger here. And yes, the 39 Hunchback is absolutely the best version. I love Lon Chaney, but his epic rendition has to take second to the pure and painful genius of Charles Laughton.
Yes, absolutely.
However, the Hunchback of Notre Dame in any form just isn't a horror film.
No,
I go to my grave.
I agree. I think we talked about that very, very early on.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or the Phantom of the Opera should be classified as, quote, monsters, because they're just human beings with deformities. The Phantom does monstrous things, but he's technically not a monster in the way that Dracula or the Frankenstein monster is, or the Wolfman. They're human beings that have physical differences.
I like that you have an opinion on it. I would say that Hawkeye is a superhero even though he has no superpowers.
But that's not what we're talking about.
But it's the same exact thing.
It is
You're
not.
saying they're
No,
not
it's
monsters?
not.
There's nothing more monstrous than... There's nothing more horrifying than the Chaney's makeup in Phantom when he reveals his makeup in Phantom.
But if somebody looked like that in real life, you would not refer to them as a monster.
It
would be very unfortunate.
If someone looked like Frankenstein, you wouldn't call them a monster either, though.
Yeah, but Frankenstein is assembled from dead bodies.
Well, you know that, but Janet Ann Gallo doesn't know that. Literally, she probably never bothered to know that level of detail.
She doesn't call him a monster either.
No, that's a good point.
So I've got to pee.
It isn't a horror film. I'll go to my grave any day now. Don't rush me.
No, it's an epic historical drama, and I 100% agree.
By the way, the Richard you quoted from a Facebook comment is me. So apparently we have heard from Rick, and I just didn't know it. And then I Googled his name, because he says his last name here. I don't know if people like to say their last name. So I Googled it and found a long post on Facebook that I think you had responded to. This is the mention that I was going to mention.
Okay.
You being off social media is easier for me in one way. I know if I've seen a post now.
Okay, because
if you looked at, I've said this before, but if you look at it, then I don't ever see it or even know it exists.
Right.
So it's just a little bit slightly cleaner this way.
So,
but now feel free to go in and look at a bunch of shit.
What was the post that I
don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I get nothing. Which two responds to this? Rick, if you want to see Cedric at his best, not sure about very best, Beeb production at that point was a little correct anyway, but opposite Finley Curry as the good doctor. Boy, I'm just reading this whole thing and it's just not even, I'm having a hard time, but apparently it's, I see. But opposite Finley Curry as the good doctor, this father of a later excellent Watson does a very solid turn as the great detective in one of Sir Arthur's own tales. Oh, he sends a link to an audio with Cedric Hardwicke.
Oh, the Beeb would be the BBC.
BBC, yeah. And yes, the Hunchback, 39 Hunchback is the best version. 39 beats 23 as to filmic tightness, but then we're farther removed from silence, and even the best extant? How do you say that word? Existing. Print of the earlier film is still meh. But as far as the actors' work, I think Lon stands toe-to-toe with Charles. Different takes, but both gold standard.
I would never diss the Lon Chaney performance.
All right, back to Rick. I don't know from geese, but I'll accept your word that they are assholes.
Oh, no, trust me.
Yeah. My son has spent a lot of time working and studying in India, and after one of his sojourns, he was home and was showing us some photos of his travels. In several photos, there were monkeys hanging around. His mom oohed and awed over the cute critters, and our calm, funny, animal-loving son growled, "Monkeys are assholes," and he meant it.
I've heard that, yeah.
And then Don responds, I had occasion to work with several psychologists who ran conditioning experiments on lab animals. They all had objections to certain behavior by rabbits and rats, but they were unanimous in their hatred of monkeys. So there you go.
Yeah, okay, to be fair...
You're never going to... We're certainly not here to defend monkeys.
Well, I was going to say, to be fair to the monkeys, though, you're doing shit to them.
No, that's true. That's pretty... Experimenting on them, yeah.
Pretty nasty. So I would have to side with the monkeys in that. I'd be an asshole, too, if you were doing the shit that you're doing to them.
Okay.
Just my take. Anti-vivisection, anti-experimenting.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
animals by far.
Yeah. What did they used to say? They rubbed the shampoo in the bunny's eyes just to see if it irritated them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, they don't seem to be particularly good at it because what was the sweetener that they used to? Saccharin.
Oh, yeah.
They apparently painted saccharin on those rats. And if you take gallons of saccharin and paint it on your body, eventually you will get cancer.
You will kill you.
Drinking it doesn't seem to be a problem, and the chemicals that we're using now in its place seem a little creepy. I'm not sure what to make
of aspartame and what's the other one?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So there. So paint that on your monkeys. This is not in any way meant to be a slight on the television band The Monkees.
Oh, I think we've gone on record as being huge Monkees fans. Yeah. So yes,
and they're on Catchy Comedy all day. I think today. I think
is that right?
Turn on the Catchy Comedy channel. They're having a
Monkees marathon.
An actual marathon. They are not showing
Head or 33 and a third monkeys per whatever.
Presumably not that either. But there's one episode they're not showing.
Oh yeah,
I thought you'd guess it.
No,
Monkeys Chow Mein.
Oh sure.
Yeah. The less said, the better, perhaps.
I can understand completely. Yeah.
This would be a great introduction. You watch that, and then watch the Mr. Wong collection, and let me know.
Yeah, which one is more?
Which one's worse?
Well, you can also watch. There are a number of episodes of Get Smart where the villain is the Claw, which of course he pronounces the Craw.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a Jewish man as in yellowface. I'm sorry, but I found it hilarious when I was younger, and I probably would not now.
Yeah, I think it probably makes a difference, actually. You might still, I think, appreciate it more just because you have that memory.
Yeah.
But I never watched Breakfast at Tiffany's until it was well past its sell-by date, if you will. So, immediately hated that movie and just turned it off.
Well, I don't hate the movie itself. I hate Mickey Rooney and Blake Edwards for letting Mickey Rooney give that performance.
Yeah, it's just
it's just shocking. shocking.
It's shocking.
Even as a kid, though, when I saw it.
Yeah.
You know, the Channel 9 Saturday afternoon movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds more like a Sunday afternoon kind of movie that they would show. But anyway, being shocked by it, even as a kid, this isn't that kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a very, not serious, but very straight drama / romantic comedy. And stuck in the middle of it is this performance that wouldn't cut muster in vaudeville. It is so over the top and so bad and so offensive.
And Blake Edwards went on to make a lot of movies like that. Kind of, you know, wasn't a great artist.
I would never consider him as in the pantheon of great directors necessarily.
Yeah. I guess he's had some Pink Panthers or something.
The Pink Panthers always make me laugh. I'm sorry.
And there's some inappropriate shit. Well, see, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You can look past it because you probably came to it at a different, maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm also, a huge fan of Peter Sellers.
Yeah.
I mean, deeply, deeply troubled man, deeply unhappy, but his work is second to none.
Well,
anyway.
Theme music by Alfred Church. What's his name? Jacob Walsh.
Church.
Something like that.
Hell are you talking about? Jesus Christ.